Welcome to the Shepherd Fit Farm. I'm B.A. Shepherd, 2 P's A-R-D, talking about vision. And today I want to share with you a little bit about my own life and as it pertains to vision, because I was thinking about the best way for me to even show some of the stuff that I've been talking about this week is to just give you some insight into my own life, because that's what I know. That's what I've experienced. And so in developing vision, all of your life plays a part of it. Nothing has to be wasted. Everything can work for you to get you to your ultimate end, your ultimate destiny. I'm a PK, which means I'm a pastor's kid. My father's a pastor. My mother works in ministry with my dad. And so all of my life I've been a pastor's kid. And before you turn off the video thinking, you know what, another church person saying something, just listen to what I have to say, because it may help you, regardless of if you've ever been to church or not. There's some things that I experienced growing up that have been vitally important to my development. And my parents weren't, the restricting type church people that didn't allow my brothers and sisters and I to experience life, to do things, to go have fun. They let us go to school dances, and we were, pretty much able to be involved with stuff. They had standards and that we had to abide by, but they gave us a lot of space to just grow up and do stuff. At the same time, they didn't allow us just to be buck wild, and they would correct us and keep us in line when they needed to. But being in church gave me the opportunity to see a lot of different things about church, about experiences that people had in church. I would hear different things. All my friends didn't go to church, so I got to hear what I would say the outsider's perspective on church, and how they would say, different things about it. And all of that, little did I know, was impacting me. It was shaping me into the person that I am right now. It shaped me into the person that would cause me to sit and do videos wherever I can, to be able to share with someone words of insight and encouragement to help them move into their ultimate destiny. Excuse me. So as I grew up in church, I would see a lot of different things, and I was kind of a kid just paid attention, and I think. I'm always thinking about something. When I'm involved in something, I'm always thinking about it. And so I was in church and just going through church. And I guess all throughout my life I was making mental notes. And at some point early in my college career, I started to get frustrated with this whole idea and thing called church. And I didn't even know why, but I remember at one point saying, there has to be more than this. There has to be more than just coming to church, leaving church. Going to church, singing songs, leaving church. People telling you to pray. And it has to be more than that. There's got to be more than this. And I had no problem with church. I would go, I enjoyed it. But I had a problem with certain things about it. I remember there being times where, because I played sports and I played baseball, I had friends of all different nationalities. And I remember saying, I can't bring my friends to church. It's embarrassing. Predominantly like a black church. And so black churches do black church stuff, and go to somebody else's church, and white churches do white church stuff. But I just remember that there was all these different things about church that, to me, divided people and kept people apart from one another. It kept the person that they said they wanted to bring inside to help change their life, it kept them out because it alienated them because they weren't dressed properly. And I remember that whole clothes thing being a big deal. And as I read the Bible for myself, I started to realize maybe all this stuff that we see about church is more people stuff and not so much God stuff. And I just remember saying there's got to be more than this. I remember saying, if the Bible was rewritten right now, it wouldn't look as great as when it was written before, because somehow people seem more fearful now than they did then. And these were just all my opinions, things that I was saying, but what I was seeing was shaping me. Because if God said, we were supposed to, as Christians, impact the world, but somehow I look at the world and I didn't see Christians somehow being the most influential people. And I didn't really see it bothering people either. You look at leaders of different industries. I didn't see people like Christian people. Didn't see in any particular industry. And so these things started bothering me, and I started to wonder, well, perhaps it's just, people stuff that's confusing God stuff. I remember this frustrated me, and I remember sharing with my friends, talking to my friends about God and about being saved and how it would change their life, and all well intentioned in that time. But I remember one of my friends and my teammates, they would laugh because they would accuse me of going to the bottom line. This is what they call it. Like, don't make Shep go bottom line on you. And the bottom line punchline to that was, I would tell people, if you don't get your life right, you're going to hell. And during that time in college, I helped people. I helped them, evaluate their lives and look at what they were doing. But as I've grown, I've still come back to there's got to be more than just that. My whole life story can't be about telling people that they'll go to hell. And especially because when I've looked at the Bible and everything, it's not the basis for what I've seen. What I know is that you and I and each one of us, we're destined for greatness. That our lives have been created for a special purpose to impact the world. And in my frustration growing up, I've come to this point where if I don't help a person realize the hope of their life, then they're just left with the despair of going to hell. It's not good enough. I remember being a good person. I remember thinking, well, I'm a good person, until I realized, whoever told you need to be a good person? You're meant to do great things. Your life is destined to be positioned in a place where you do great things, and perhaps you don't hear this in your church environment, because I don't remember hearing it in mine, but your life is destined for something more than just good things or just being saved from something. Because I would often ask, if I'm saved from something, what am I saved to? So I don't do these things, and so I'm saved, and I've accepted Jesus in my heart, and I'm saved, but there's got to be more than just that, because there's a whole lot of people, they're saved and they're frustrated. They're saved and they're sick. They're saved and their finances are jacked up. They're saved from something, but they're not saved from all this stuff that affects them every day. So it seems a little jacked up to me. And this is just me being honest, because this is how I was thinking, and this is how I think, and because this is how I think, this is how I process. And then ultimately, this is what I dream about, changing things so that people's lives can actually practically be touched. Because you know what? As a personal trainer, I work as a personal trainer, and working with people, when they come into the gym, there have been people that I've never prayed with ever, that have come off of medication, that have seen their relationships get better because now they've lost weight, they're confident in themselves, they're not taking pills and on medication anymore. But we didn't have prayer meeting about it. But what I believe is that God has given us capability to do what we're supposed to do because He wants us to do that. Your life was designed and destined to do something to impact somebody else. And it's selfish of you if you don't do it. That's why you need a vision. Because your life is meant for that. Your life is meant to impact the world. And I think what I saw and what I would say was that people use church as a way to not impact the world. Because they'll say, well, I'm going to pray about that. And I'm going to pray about that. And I'm going to pray about that. And prayer has its place. But what I started to see was prayer as an excuse to not do anything. Because if a person needs a hug and they feel unloved, and you say you're going to pray about it, the person's still going to need a hug. Because there are some things that are stuff for men or people to do. And it has nothing to do with God. Other than the fact that He would be pleased that we did it for someone. So we live these lives, and our lives kind of just wallow around in mediocrity because no one ever told us that we're supposed to be great. No one ever told you that, you know what, you have an area that you're supposed to dominate. That's why the shirts say what they say. I dominate life. Not because life is perfect, but because I need to keep reminding myself that there's a place that's meant for me to dominate. That life is not supposed to dominate me. I'm not supposed to be subject to the things of life feeling like they're pressing me down. That's not the position my life's supposed to be in. But if I don't do what I'm destined to do and meant to do, which in part is sharing with you right now, then my life can never be what it's supposed to be because there was a special place for me that I never, ever made it to. And the same for you. You're frustrated right now because you're not where you're supposed to be. You're not doing the things that you're supposed to do, but in your mindset, mentality, you've become like what I've heard people in church say. Whether or not you go to church or not, you have become a sheep. I remember being in church and hearing pastors here and there and everywhere talking about the people as sheep. And they would be the shepherds and the people were the sheep. And then I started to do research on sheep and I realized that sheep aren't really even the most brilliant of animals. And then I started to look at Jesus and I said, well, Jesus had these disciples that he worked with and they followed, but sheep, I wouldn't define them as sheep because they did some amazing things. They didn't really do sheepish things. They didn't walk with the sheep. But if you're a sheep, then you're going to produce sheep. And this is where, and I'm going to get to the point where your vision is so vitally important because there was something a part of my life that for a long time I missed until one day, doing what I do, which is sign my name as autographs because I wanted to be a professional athlete. I saw something because I signed my name B.A. Shepherd. B.A. Shepherd, then I signed it, I'm creative, signing it. And, this is in the midst of struggling with my own identity. Who I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to make money in this world. And then right there in my name, I saw it. Brian A. Shepherd, B.A. Shepherd. But for me, B.A. Shepherd is not B.A. Shepherd to sheep, but B.A. Shepherd to shepherds. Be a shepherd means B.A. Shepherd is what our lives are meant to be. For us to be leaders. Be a shepherd, Brian. That's what you do. But be a shepherd to shepherds. Don't be a shepherd to sheep. Because sheep always need you. Shepherds end up going off on their own. They're able to go. Shepherds can help guide other people and help free them into being on their own. But a sheep can only reproduce sheep. And so my whole life has taken a turn because the destiny of my life is in being a shepherd. Be a shepherd, but to other shepherds. Be a leader to other leaders. Not that people would need to be with me, but that I can help people to realize all that they're supposed to be so they can go and do what they're supposed to do. That they can grow up and grow away. That they can be off, living in their own domain and living life abundantly. So things are very much different for me because I realize now that being a shepherd means that someone is going to get released into their destiny. And I don't have to talk to them about going to hell because I'll show them where they're meant to be and it's so much greater. That I can talk to them about living above the things that oppress them. I can show them how to dominate life so that life is not dominating them. Welcome to the Shepherd Fit Farm. I'm B.A. Shepherd. I'm glad you spent this time with me. I look forward to spending more time with you. Have a great day.